You know, something shifts within us after we turn 70. It's not just about age or counting the birthdays we've had. It's something deeper, more spiritual. We begin to see that life isn't about chasing after more anymore. It's about holding on to the things that truly bring us peace. At this stage, clarity becomes more valuable than noise, and inner calm starts to feel like life's greatest treasure. But here's what often goes unspoken. Aging gracefully isn't just about what we do, it's also about what we choose to stop doing. It means recognizing which habits, words, places, and even people no longer bring value or peace into our lives. Letting go, at times, is the most freeing and loving thing we can do for ourselves. This message is for anyone in their 70s or beyond who wants to enter this chapter, not feeling diminished, but more grounded, more aware, and more at ease. It's not about giving up, it's about releasing what weighs you down, and often, that change begins with the words we choose to speak. So, let's begin with the first part. 3 things you should never say after 70. These phrases might sound harmless, even familiar, but they carry emotional weight that quietly holds us back. The first one is something many older people say without even thinking. The words of comparison between the past and the present, showing that the speaker feels unhappy or disappointed with how things are now, such as, "Back in my day, things were better." Now, there's nothing wrong with remembering the past. There's beauty in nostalgia, but the danger comes when that phrase becomes a wall between your memories and your present life. When we say the past was better, we're unintentionally telling ourselves that today, this moment right now, is somehow not good enough. And that creates a subtle kind of sadness. It robs us of the little joys right in front of us, the taste of morning tea, the warmth of sunlight through the window, the sound of a grandchild's voice. Life today is different. Yes, but that doesn't mean it's lesser. The world may have changed, but your spirit hasn't lost its value. You are still here, breathing, still meaningful. So instead of living in the shadow of the past, honor it, but keep your feet planted in the present. The second phrase we must be careful with is even more dangerous. The words of limitation or self-doubt, showing that the speaker believes it's too late to grow or adapt, such as, "I'm too old to change." That's not just a sentence, it's a self-imposed prison. The truth is, age does not stop growth. Fear does. When you start to believe that change is no longer possible, you stop giving yourself permission to learn, to forgive, to surprise yourself. But as long as your heart is beating, you are still becoming. Change doesn't have to be big or dramatic. It could be something as small as trying a new recipe, learning how to use a phone app, or even letting go of an old grudge you've carried for decades. These small changes carry big emotional shifts. They remind you that you're not stuck. You're still alive inside, and you're never too old to make peace with yourself. And the last phrase we often hear, especially in quiet moments, is the words of regret, expressing a longing for something they didn't do or a chance they missed in the past, such as, "I wish I had." Simple words, but they echo with years of regret. The thing about regret is that it doesn't stay in the past. It creeps into your present, coloring every quiet moment with what-ifs. But here's something powerful to remember. Your story isn't over. Regret keeps you stuck in the past, but curiosity, wondering what you can still do today, brings you back to life. Maybe you wish you had traveled more, said something to someone, taken a different path. But that doesn't mean it's too late to create peace, to offer kindness, to speak love. Don't let the past steal your present. Ask yourself what kindness you can give today, what smile you can offer, what peace you can choose. The final chapters of your life can still be your most meaningful. Now let's move into the next part. 3 things you should never do after. Not because life is over, but because your energy deserves better. Your time deserves better, and so does your heart. The first thing to stop doing is seeking approval from the younger generation. This one is subtle but heavy. Many elders feel the need to stay relevant, to be accepted by their children, their grandchildren, or even younger neighbors. But here's the truth. You have nothing left to prove. You've lived through things they haven't even imagined yet. You've raised families, said goodbye to people you loved, survived losses, and grown through hardships that can't be explained in a tweet or a phone call. You don't need their validation to know your worth. You are not a shadow of your younger self. You are the full flame of experience. Let the younger ones chase trends. Let them worry about being in the loop. You are the lighthouse now. Speak from wisdom. Walk in grace. You don't need to explain yourself anymore. You are your own proof. The second thing to stop doing is holding on to things just because you're afraid to let go. This is a quiet struggle for many elders. Whether it's the house full of old clothes, relationships that drain your spirit, or routines that no longer fit your needs. Many times we hold on, not out of love, but out of fear. Fear of emptiness. Fear of silence. But here's the truth. Peace doesn't come from possession. It comes from presence. Letting go doesn't mean losing. It means making space. Space to breathe. Space to rest. Space to let new joys come in. Clear out the physical clutter, but also clear out the emotional clutter. The old grudges, the outdated expectations, the roles you used to play that no longer bring meaning. You don't lose yourself when you let go. You find yourself again. And the third thing you must stop doing is replaying what you've lost. After 70, loss becomes part of life. Friends pass away. Children grow up. Roles shift. But mourning doesn't need to become your identity. You are not your grief. You are what remains. You are the love that's still here. Yes, the pain is real, but so is the warmth in your hands, the light coming through your window, the laughter of someone who still cares. Loss may shape your story, but it doesn't have to be the final sentence. Instead of waking up with thoughts of what's gone, start noticing what's still here. And when you do, say quietly to yourself, I still have this moment, and I choose peace. There's a beautiful kind of strength in knowing what to stop doing. It's not weakness, it's wisdom. It's realizing that your time is too precious to be wasted on patterns that dim your life. The next parts of this message will go even deeper, because not only do we need to be mindful of what we say and do, but we also have to be careful about the spaces we enter and the people we let into our lives. And that's exactly where we're headed next. Now, let's move into the next part of this message. 3 places you should never go after 7. And when I say places, I don't just mean physical locations. I mean emotional landscapes, social situations, and even mental spaces that quietly rob you of your peace. After 70, your time and energy are more sacred than ever, and not every place is worthy of your presence. You've earned the right to walk away from anything that doesn't respect your worth. The first place you should never go is anywhere your dignity isn't honored. This could be a family gathering where people talk down to you. It could be a church where you feel invisible. It could be a phone call that always ends with you feeling small. You may have gone there for years out of habit or out of loyalty, but if you leave feeling disrespected, it's no longer a place for you. Dignity is not a luxury in your 70s. It is your baseline. You deserve to be seen and heard without having to fight for it. You don't need to explain yourself. You don't need to tolerate subtle insults or passive indifference. If someone doesn't honor the light you still carry, it's okay to quietly remove yourself. Your peace is not up for negotiation. The second place to avoid is anywhere you're only tolerated, not celebrated. There's a big difference between being included and being truly welcome. Too often, older adults are invited to events or gatherings out of obligation, not joy. People may call you out of duty, but their attention is somewhere else. Their words are polite, but their hearts are distant. And over time, that energy wears you down. It makes you feel like you're just there, not truly wanted. After 70, Your presence should never feel like a favor. It should feel like a gift. You deserve to be in rooms where people light up when you walk in, where your stories are listened to, not brushed aside. Find the places where your laughter is shared, your wisdom is valued, and your being is celebrated. That's where your soul can breathe. And third, don't go back to past pain, expecting to fix it now. This one is quiet, and it lives in the heart. Sometimes we revisit old wounds, old conversations, old places, even old letters, hoping that maybe this time we'll feel closure. But the truth is, healing doesn't always come from reopening the wound. Sometimes it comes from releasing it, from saying to yourself, I've already survived there. I've already walked through it. I don't need to go back there again. You don't owe the past anything more. It's not your job to re-edit the memories, to rewrite what was said or unsaid. You gave what you could. You did your best with what you had at the time, and now your job is to live forward. Let the past rest in peace. You deserve that peace too. Now, for the final part of this message, let's talk about 3 people you should never meet after 70. And again, this isn't about being cold or shutting people out. It's about protecting your emotional space. The people you allow into your life, even occasionally, have a powerful impact on your mood, your energy, and your self-worth. You've reached an age where you've seen what people are capable of, both the beautiful and the painful. And now you get to choose who stands beside you. The first person you should never meet is the one who only talks about what you've lost. You know the type. Every conversation turns into a long list of illnesses, funerals, and stories of decline. They speak only of what's gone, never of what remains, and being around them feels like slowly sinking into a fog of sadness. Now, grief is real, and shared sorrow has its place. But if someone never looks up to see what's still blooming in life, they can pull you into the same darkness. You need people who remind you of what still matters, what still works, what still warms your heart. Life is not over, and you don't need someone constantly pointing to the endings when there are still so many middles and beginnings left. The second person to avoid is the one who sees you only as a burden. Sometimes this person hides behind politeness, but their energy says everything. They help you out of obligation, but their presence feels cold. You sense it in their sigh, in how quickly they rush you, or how little they listen. Being around someone who sees you as a task, not a person, slowly chips away at your dignity, and it can make you question whether you deserve to ask for help or take up space. But let's be clear, you are not a burden. You are not extra weight. You are a full human being with history and value and presence. If someone cannot care for you with respect, then love yourself enough to care from a distance. You deserve more than tolerated kindness. You deserve more than tolerated kindness. You deserve warmth. And the third person you should never meet is the one who keeps you small. This may be someone who's trying to protect you. They mean well, but their words sound like limits. You shouldn't try that. That's not for your age. Better to stay quiet. Better to stay home. Over time, you begin to shrink. Not physically, but emotionally. You stop trying new things. You stop speaking up. You stop dreaming. And the saddest part is, you start to believe that maybe they're right, but they're not. You're still growing. You're still becoming. Age may change your pace, but it doesn't take away your right to evolve. Surround yourself with people who say, try it, do it, go for it. You don't need protectors. You need encouragers at this stage of life. Who you spend time with, where you go, what you say, and what you do, all of it adds up to the quality of your days. And those days are sacred. Let go of what dims you. Stop doing what drains you. Walk away from places and people who leave you feeling smaller. Instead, speak with love. Move with peace. Go where you are free. Be with those who make you feel alive. You are not in your final chapter. You are in your finest chapter, and it begins when you choose peace over pressure, dignity over drama, and freedom over fear. Let this be your quiet revolution. So, if you've made it to this point in the message, take a breath. Let everything you've just heard settle softly in your heart. This is not a list of rules. It's a gentle reminder from one soul to another that life after 70 is not about fading. It's about refining. You're not less than you were. You're more clear about what matters, more aware of what brings peace, more ready to protect your spirit. If any part of this message spoke to you today, carry it with you, not as a burden, but as a blessing. Let it guide you when you're unsure. Let it comfort you when old thoughts come knocking. Let it remind you, you are still becoming. Speak only what uplifts. Do only what brings peace. Go only where your spirit feels safe. And meet only those who see your worth. You're not too late. You're right on time for this moment, for this wisdom, for this chapter. And if this message gave you something, clarity, calm, or even just a small sense of hope, take a second to share it with someone who might need it too. Maybe a friend, maybe a child, or maybe just a note to yourself. Because aging isn't something we go through alone. It's something we rise through together. We'll see you in the next video.